Kim Hafner. Okay, well, it goes back to probably when I was about 8, and my sister, one of my sisters and I would cook together. We'd always watch cooking shows and stuff like that, and our mom was really good because she would allow us sometimes get the cookbook out and buy stuff for the family and cook a meal. So I remember probably my first meal that I made was not a vegan one. I've been a vegetarian for almost 30 years. I was 14 when I became a vegetarian. But before that, I love to cook, and we try out recipes and stuff like that. So I think it was some kind of lamb dish we did. I did, and then she did a separate dish. But so probably back then I was interested in cooking. Would watch all the cooking shows. There was no Food Network when I was growing up. I watched probably shows you don't even know about, but the Frugal Gourmet and Yan Can Cook, and it was on Channel 13 and 21 and that sort of thing. But probably it was when I became a vegetarian I really got into cooking, because my sister and I would have to cook for ourselves. Because at first my mom would just make meals without the meat, we'd eat the sides, but we knew that it wasn't healthy enough for us to do that. So we were interested in different kinds of ethnic cooking with spices and stuff like that. And then my first real job being a cook was probably around 2000. A friend of mine had worked at a school up in the Catskills as the chef for the school. It was an herbal school. It's called the Herbal Bear School of, I think, alternative medicine and herbs. People go there to learn how to use herbs and medicinally. So she was getting married, so they needed a replacement for her. So my sister and I went up there. We were the chefs for that time, and then she moved away, and we became the chefs full time. So we would, for 6 months out of the year, we would, one weekend for each month, we would go up, cook breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch for students. It was vegetarian/vegan meals. It was fun, but it was funny because my sister and I were always fighting in the kitchen. The kitchen was a mess. Like when she'd come in, the woman who we worked for would come in sometimes worrying if there would be dinner on the table for her students. Like literally every pot was used all around the kitchen. It was a mess. It was horrible. So we'd be there, do breakfast, come back. We'd have to go all the way up the hill in the car with the meals and stuff to bring the food for the school, and then come back down, cook the next meal. It was like constant. We were always fighting, but the meals always got out on the table. No one knew what went on in the background or what the state of the kitchen was. So that was my first paid job. Your knives are very important, just because those are your tools. Like without that, you don't create. Like it's funny, it's interesting. Like because I'm new to the professional cooking world, like I didn't know that, but like if you touch someone's knives in the kitchen, it can be really bad. Like it's really like you should always ask permission, and those are sorts of things that I've learned also, that you don't just use someone's knives. Even if you're in a pinch, you should always ask permission. That sort of thing. You want to have that. Like, just I think the ability to be flexible is really important, because sometimes, like, although you plan, things don't work out. Like I see that here in the kitchen. Like your order doesn't come in, so you have to kind of figure out what you're going to do, to replace what you didn't get in your order. Just kind of winging it. I also private chef, and so I give the family a list of ingredients, and invariably they forget an ingredient, so you have to kind of wing it. It's like, okay, what can I do instead of that, but still make the meal that they're looking forward to, that sort of thing. I think just like a sense of humor is good too, like because you're kind of always on your feet, especially, the orders are coming in, the people want it, and you have to always be laughing or else you'll be crying. Like, if something goes wrong, it's like, oh my God. I'd say those few things are probably really important for a chef to have.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you need anything else, I'm here. Getting my fame and fortune.